All right. Well, Jesse, we'll start with you. Where are you zooming in from?
Hey guys, I'm in Montreal.
Okay, great. And what do you do there?
So I just launched my company a couple months ago. It's called Wise Oak Wilderness, and yeah, I basically offer outdoors skills, courses and classes for adults, focusing on bushcraft and foraging and outdoor cuisine on the fire, that sort of thing. And
Fantastic.
yeah, and I work a lot with Indigenous guest instructors and try to kind of like bridge
Hmm,
Indigenous, non-Indigenous uh, communities to share learning. Yeah.
beautiful. Okay. Well, let me just read what you wrote. So yeah, so basically what you said, but so I offer in-person foraging, wild cuisine, wilderness skills workshops for adults in the Montreal area. For hands-on experiences, we help people get to know the land they live on, build strong connections to the living world. Classes are taught in English and take place in Ganawage in partnership with Indigenous guest instructors. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful work that you're doing. It's very clear. I totally get it. Your niche is fine. Just move on from niching. That's not the issue. Um, this is an example of a niche being based on, in some ways, it's more the boat than the journey. You know, there's not a clear island A and B, like, here's the problem, here's the result. Other than that, people just want to be on this kind of a boat. People are probably going to come to these classes for all sorts of reasons, but they're just drawn to those things. So this is an example where I think that works. Now, there may also be particular journeys you want to take people on in specific programs. But yeah, it's fantastic. So the thing I would be focused on next, if we look at my pyramid that I came up with, let's do a little screen share so you can all see this, and you can see this at marketingforhippies.com/steps if you're interested. But let me just pull this up. So this is the general pyramid that I talk about. Ethics is the base. I don't talk about ethics as much in these calls because I find with hippies, that's why they're coming. It's because so much of marketing is unethical. So then the very first thing usually is niche, and I think you've nailed it. So then there's the point of view piece. Now it's interesting. The work you're doing has a lot of implied point of view, but if there's a take on it that you've got that's different than other people in the scene, that may be, worth lifting up. If there's a ton of competition, my guess is there's not, a million other people doing this. So that my guess is the point of view is probably clear enough. You can keep articulating it. The point of view is just going to be important as a differentiator. If there's a lot of other kind of competition, okay, well, why should I work with you? What's different about your take on things? So unless there's something really stand out there, I would probably focus on the business model thing. That's the next piece of what's the structure of your business? What's the architecture of the thing, and is that working for you? And for everybody here, the best advice I can give you in terms of business model is this: find somebody who's doing what you do successfully and just look at how they do it. Yeah, if there's somebody out there who's a little further ahead of you doing this kind of wilderness skill stuff, look at their business model. See if you can call them, send them an email, and just say, "Hey, I'm just getting started. We're in different cities. It's not, there's no competition here, but would you be, can I get some mentorship from you? You've been doing this for 5, 10 years. Uh, what were the mistakes you made? Would you be willing to look at what I've got and give me some feedback? Because they may see things you can't see. It's like, yeah, you're going to burn out doing this. This isn't going to work. Find somebody who's already doing what you do, but further ahead and doing it successfully, profitably, ethically, all that. Find somebody who's inspiring. If you can't find anyone, that's often a red flag, or that's just okay, this is going to be harder. There may be a reason there aren't a lot of people doing it successfully, but even if you can't, okay, great, then still you got to focus on the business model. And I guess for everybody, just in the shameless plug thing, I got a bunch of webinars. One of them, the one that would be most useful, Jesse, in the case would be this one, the Business Model 101. if you're not already sort of familiar with business model stuff. That's what I recommend. But there's also at the free level on this page, we scroll down here. So you'll see fundamental number 4, business model, and there's a few videos, and there's a couple playlists to check out, just free stuff. And then there's my products on it. So that's what I'd recommend next. I don't know, how does that all land for you? Did I miss the boat completely?
That's actually helpful to realize like that my niching is good. Like I felt that, but I realized I didn't quite have an island B that I'm trying to get people to that's super specific, but people are attracted to the boat. Yeah. So my business model at the moment is like I offer these courses so people can come for like every 2 weeks on a Saturday or Sunday, and they can come maybe 6 times. And then when those don't fill, so say I've got like 6 out of 12 spots full with that, then I open it to drop-ins.
Yeah.
And I've been able to fill my classes so far, so it works. And yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like you kind of tweak and dial things so that it works
Do you
long term.
do you have anything longer than 6 weeks? Like, do you have a year-long program?
Not yet. Yeah, so I really just launched it like a couple months ago. But yeah, so one successful business who is a mentor of mine, he lives much more rurally. He's in the States, but his shortest courses, most of them are 2 months long. People come for a full 2 months, pay like $7,000. His shortest courses are 1 or 2 weeks.
Who's
So
this?
that his name's Tim Smith.
Okay.
He's more in the bushcraft world than the nature
Sure.
connection
Okay.
type thing, but yeah,
Well,
planning canoe trips, that sort of thing.
yeah, for almost everybody on this call, unless you've got this, here's an exercise I recommend thinking through. And I when I do one-on-one coaching sessions, puttering sessions, maybe a quarter of the time I give people this exercise. Here's what it is. Imagine you've got, I don't know, 10 or 20 of your ideal clients. I mean, the kind of people who just light you up, bring out your best work. You love these people. And they come to one of your events, or one of them reaches out to you and say, hey, there's a bunch of us, and we love your work. We love your point of view, your whole niche, the whole thing. You don't need to pitch us. We're in. We just want to work with you. And your current offerings aren't quite robust enough. Because what we want, now here's where the island A and B comes in. It's like we want at the end of this year to be really much more deeply steeped in this nature connection. We want to have the basics dialed. We want it, whatever it is they're wanting at the end of the year. Yeah. And they say, we want you to design a year-long program just for us. And by the way, we're fucking rich. We're loaded. So charge whatever you want to charge, but make it perfect. Like make this the thing that you most want to offer us, because we love you and what you're about. So whatever you design, we're going to be thrilled with, we think. What would you design? It's worth everyone really thinking about this. If you had a group of people keen with money and they said, just design a year-long thing to help us make this journey to solve this problem to get this result, what would you put together? Even if it's, early days like this for Jesse, the thought process behind this, you may be amazed. Whenever I do this with people, almost always at the end of it, I say, how do you feel with what you've written? And they say, I'm so excited. Oh my God, I can't, So that's a good sign. You design the thing you really, really want to offer. Because sometimes we just, I'll do a week long because that's all that people will sign up for. In the beginning, maybe so. You're building a following, your reputation. But at a certain point, it's good to have something because the short courses can burn you out. There's a fellow, you may know, Stephen Martin in the Ottawa Valley. He runs a Sacred Gardener. But he did a lot of short courses and he was just struggling. And I said, have you thought about just doing a school? Like a year or 2 year-long thing? And he had the thought, but they'd never really explored it. And then that became their business model and it totally turned things around. Because what they found, and a lot of you may find, is people they keep coming back to the same courses. And it's like, you already done this course, but you're not offering anything else. And they just like you and they like the content and they don't mind repeating it. But so especially for those people, you could offer them something much more robust that's not so repetitive. It's amazing how much business we all lose because we're just not offering them a next thing. We only have what we have. And there's people who, if we offered something else, would sign up. You know, my whole business model used to be live free intro workshop evenings and then a page can weekend. Then one day I said, well, maybe I'll just do this weekend workshop online, but like this is a 6-week thing. And I sold 40 people in at $200 each. I just was charging really low, you know, it was a long time ago. But I made $8,000 just, and I couldn't believe I'd made that much money in one go. It blew my mind. Yeah. So when people think about marketing, they tend to think about how do I get new people in the door only. But the profitability does not come from volume. It comes from structure. It comes from the business model. It comes from setting your business up in the right way. If your business is set up in the wrong way, more people equals faster burnout and faster bankruptcy. Yeah, it just speeds up the process of what was going to be happening. So for a lot of service providers I see, they don't have that bigger level thought through. So with a yoga studio, right, there's a free drop-in class. You can pay for a single class. You can do a 10 pass or a 30-day pass. You can go to a retreat or a workshop. And then there are the teacher trainings. And the teacher trainings are what pay for the whole yoga studio. If you take that part of the business model out, the yoga studio collapses within a few years. So for everyone, it's just good to think through the whole structure of this, the kind of sales funnel of just like what's the free stuff, but also is there a higher end thing for the people who would want it? Because there will be, you know, I can assure you there will be people who want it. Okay, those are my thoughts. I'm going to move on to the next one. Thank you, Jesse, for your
Thank
amazing.
you. That was great. Thanks.